100% gets you out of your comfort zone because everything is not going to go the way you plan. It's not going to go the way you want it to.
You're listening to the Letdown podcast.
It's like buck fever.
One shot at a time.
That's a big part.
I do. Me.
So actually, I had a gentleman. He was so nervous. He answered every question with one word.
That is so hard.
All right. Welcome back to the Letdown. Today is a little different, and I think in a good way. We've been pretty deep in archery world lately. Today, we're stepping just slightly outside of that, but still very much in the same lane. I've got Jenn McDonald on, hunter, content creator, podcast host, and also writing for CSAAA. So Jenn, I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
And obviously, I got to give a little credit here to Erica Marchand. She kind of connected the whole thing. So,
oh, thank you. Erica's cool. Yeah, I just messaged her before I got on, and I said, I'm doing the Letdown podcast.
Yeah, I had her on as well. We both have interviewed Erica, so we do have that in common. So that was awesome. Yeah, she's a great guest,
and she's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a very good sport.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you've shot with her. That's true, right? You guys
apparently
compete together.
Now, so I better watch my back.
Very fun. That's super cool.
Yep.
Uh
oh. Yeah, that's all right. We'll just.
I don't know who to vouch for.
Each other on the line too when we come on. So
I'll figure it out.
You can vote for both of us.
Yeah.
If someone finds your page for the first time, wow, what do they think you are?
Well, it depends on who's finding my page. Recently, I've had a few people that have thought and voiced a lot of things. I think ultimately they would just think I'm somebody that likes hunting, cooking, being outside. That seems to be kind of what my page screams from a quick glance.
Like, were you always a hunter, a chef? Like, were you always doing that type of thing?
Not at all. Didn't grow up hunting or with firearms or anything like that. Definitely loved being outside, like outside as much as I could, foraging, all that fun stuff. Grew up on a farm, but it was after college that I actually got my hunting and firearms license and really dove into hunting. It was just sort of like the self-sufficiency, I guess, aspect of it that really drove me into it. And then, of course, I just fell in love with it from there. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, a lot of like YouTube and Google and all of that. It helps me with everything. I mean, even if I'm hunting a new species or, I'm lucky enough to harvest a new species, YouTube always helps me kind of learn the best methods or, butchering procedures or techniques.
Did you find it really hard getting into it? Like, were you nervous when you first started hunting? Because there's a lot of rules and regulations to follow. Yeah.
So many. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And like you take it so seriously. Yeah, definitely. Super nervous, and it's intimidating going out into the field alone for the first time, or like even being with a firearm alone for the first time, even though they're not scary. It's just there's something intimidating about them the first few times you use one. So yeah, it was definitely challenging, but I find like the more I pushed myself to do it, the easier it got. And now it just sort of seems like second nature. Like I just love being out there so much that
that's amazing.
It's great to just figure out new things, new techniques.
Were you shooting before you hunted?
No, hunting got me into shooting. So I just kind of bought a shotgun because I needed one to hunt with, and then I got really passionate about firearms. So I got my restricted license so I could purchase handguns, and then that's when I got into the competitive shooting and volunteering at the gun range and all of that. I don't anymore, unfortunately, but I used to. Yeah, it was super, super fun, and I guess it was kind of like the archery, like very minimal female representation there. There's kind of like the small group of girls at each event.
Yeah, like that's
for my own bloodlines.
Big accomplishment. Like, do you have any stories, any like crazy stories, and I don't know if it's funny or unusual hunting stories that you've gone through as you're trying to learn and figure things out? Because I've got one that I'll share after.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to hear that. I guess there's always just kind of like funny stuff that's happened. I mean, I'm often out there alone. A few seasons ago, I we are only allowed to hunt deer with a muzzleloader or a shotgun or with archery. So I had my muzzleloader with me because that's kind of what I prefer to use for deer. And I was crossing over this little creek, and I like slipped in, and I was just like completely covered because I was laying
Oh
flat,
no.
completely covered,
Yeah.
guns covered. End of the hunt. It was the beginning of the hunt. It was the end of the hunt because I have to go home and clean out my gun and dry everything out, and quite the ordeal. No, but other than that, yeah, nothing that stands out.
So I just remember there was this one time where it was like, I had a weekend where I could go turkey hunting, and Chris couldn't come with me. I couldn't remember why. So, we're allowed to start hunting at sun up. And I thought, no, I want to be in my spot by 4 a.m. I want to be there by 4 a.m. So it's like a 2 hour drive from here. So at 1 a.m., I'm leaving our house, going there. I have all my stuff. And,
Oh my gosh.
I have the iHunter app, and then Chris is telling me where to go. And just on the edge of the hunting area, there is like a farmer's field. And what I didn't know was that Chris was intending me to skirt the farmer's field to get to our spot. And I didn't know that. And I went through the forest. And let's just say that there was no clear path, and that I made so much noise going through it, and that I lost my jacket that was attached to my bag while I was going. And not only that, but there was a big bog that
Oh
actually I
no.
didn't know was going to be there because it was dry when I scoped it last time. And so like my boots are going in, and then the water is going into my boots, and I'm like, I'm not giving up. I'm getting to that spot, and I'm going and going and going. And then I finally lost, oh my gosh, it must have taken me 3 hours of like, it wasn't even a kilometer like to get to that spot. And by the time I got there, I had a little, not a blind, but it was kind of like a little sheet of weed. Yeah. And I didn't have a great
Like that
spot,
little
because I
mesh
didn't have my
shield,
little tent
kind of.
there, and I had, I think I had my bow at that time actually. So I'm carrying this big bow, trying to get through all this stuff. And then, I, yeah, and that time in the morning, and I had my
At that
headlamp on,
time
and
of
I
the
thought,
morning.
I even heard one gobble, and I didn't realize, oh my gosh, I was making so much noise. The dog across the street was barking the whole time. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's barking because of me. And then by the time I got to my spot at 5 a.m., by the way, I was like, Chris, you know what? I'm actually freezing cold. I'm wet and soaking. I see now that there's an animal that must have gotten to another turkey, because I see feathers right here. So I think this is a spot, but I don't hear any gobbles. I don't see any turkeys. And I think I might freeze right now, to like freeze to death. So he's like, you know what? I'll just come home. And I'm like, no, I don't want to, but I'm freezing cold. So that's why turkey is the bane of my existence.
Oh, mine too.
It seems like both of you are not turkey
Oh
fans.
my god, I hate turkeys.
I'm trying to practice my own turkey call from using my own voice, but I'm not showing it up. I only just started trying it.
That's a good idea. I've seen those videos. I should practice that. I feel like my daughter would be very fascinated by that noise too.
For sure she would.
And have you gone
Something.
turkey hunting? Have you got I think I've seen, or no, I don't think I've seen a turkey. I think that was it was a turkey?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I love turkey hunting. Most of the time, of course. Of course, there's definitely been like extremely frustrating mornings where like they just don't obviously do what you want them to do because they're turkeys. But I've harvested, I think, 5 turkey. Didn't get one last year, sadly. I was 8 months pregnant, trying to like drag myself through the bush. It was there we go. Yeah. I did go out a few times for sure, but it was really challenging because I was very large and heavy, and
So much less maternity hunting clothes. Like,
oh, not even slightly. Yeah, exactly. My clothes were like still unbuttoned and like barely hanging over my belly. Yeah. It was an
how old's
interesting
your little one
season.
now?
9 months.
You got a 9-month-old. Oh, that's
No,
awesome.
that was just last year.
Busy.
Yeah. Super, super busy. Yeah. With I'm still kind of like working and stuff and busy with her, but she's awesome. She's fun. Yeah, I really like cooking. So I try and find different ways to, I guess, sort of make it more like traditional. Of course, there's always like those fun wild game recipes, but it's nice to
Yeah, no, it looks
try
really
and
good. I was
incorporate it
checking
into
out
like
your
everyday
website.
dishes too.
Every dish looked so delicious. And I think, yeah, it was so good. I think Chris picked one out, and he said he was going to give
Thank
it a try.
you.
And I was like, please do. Like, I would love that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, was it the spice? No, the venison steak and garlic mashed potatoes.
Oh, cool.
I've got a lot of moose, so I'm gonna
That
be doing
is
that
so
soon.
delicious.
Moose
Yeah,
is good.
yeah. So Jen, do you feel like you fit into the hunting world?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't know if this sounds like weird or like I'm in a therapy session, but like I don't think I fit anywhere. I don't know. I just yes, kind of, maybe. At first, I want to say no, but then there's an organization called the Canadian Sportswomen's Society, and they host like these big hunts, and like a lot of women go for these big hunts and fishing excursions
Yeah.
and stuff. And I always feel like I fit in with them. So I mean, maybe yes, I do.
That hunters are a different type of community. Yeah, I think so. Same thing with
Yeah,
too.
maybe that's it, eh?
It's another like because I also feel that way too. I don't fit in a lot of places, but at the archery range, I really feel like I fit in. And I haven't been on any of those big hunting excursions yet. Although
Yeah,
I
same with the
was
gun
planning
range.
on doing a bird hunt last year, and I just couldn't make it out. But yeah, like that's. I mean, I think it's also just the type of people you're around.
Yeah, hunters are, I think for the most part, like very independent. I mean, I like to be outside alone. I like to kind of be meandering through the woods alone. So maybe that is it also. Yeah, we're just more independent and introverted. And
Yeah.
when we all get together, we work together great.
Yeah, we're not so
Yeah.
introverted. We get together.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe not all of us. I shouldn't speak for everyone. There's a lot of extroverted hunters.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So anyway, what's the stereotype people expect versus what you actually are?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm like a super petite girl. I'm 5'0". So when people first see me, they definitely don't expect me to be like a hunter or somebody that works with guns or has firearms or anything. I think they just think I'm just, some mom or well now, but yeah, I always get a very, very surprised reaction when people find out that I actually hunt or shoot. So I think the stereotype
I wonder,
might not fit.
yeah, I wonder if it's I don't know how do I say this without sounding like a misogynist. Those
Okay.
bad words, those evil words.
All those trigger words.
Yeah, the trigger words. I wonder too. Like it's so. Here's a phenomenon I've found. I was I shot IPSC as well. I know you shot IPSC.
Cool.
I used to shoot IPSC when I think I took the first IPSC course, my first IPSC course in 2012, and I met a gentleman named Reg and his daughter Maddie. His daughter was 18 at the time, and yeah, so I always found that like guys obviously will treat the ladies a lot different than they do other guys, right? To the point where it's like they're babying her and they're doing all these things, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, dude, like this girl climbs mountains. Like her dad's a mountain climber. She climbs mountains.
Yeah.
She wants to fly bush planes. Like she's
fine.
Yeah, she's fine. She did just come into this by accident. She knows what she's doing. So, and I think that's why, like, because I didn't know Reg before I went there, and he actually became really good friends because I didn't treat his daughter like that. I just tried to,
Nice.
and I
Treat her like a person.
Yeah, like a person, like who's trying to learn the same thing I'm trying to learn, and being frustrated as me, trying to pass this course. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. Like, there's still that. It might be a little bit of that, like almost a gentlemanly kind of thing.
Yeah, like that's what I was kind of thinking because it is really tough. Like at the gun range and everything, there are a lot of those guys that almost, like you said, baby the ladies, or they're like overly helpful or mansplaining or whatever you want to call it. And like a lot of women will get upset or offended, but I almost feel bad because I don't think they mean it to be offensive. I think it's just sort of old boys club. Like they just want the women to feel extra welcome and they want to try and help as much as possible, and they don't expect us to be fully as, capable, I guess. But yeah, there's still definitely a lot of that. Even on my posts and stuff, sometimes I get like guys that think I'm not doing something the right way, so they'll be, on social media it's less nice. It's a little more, condescending, like you're an idiot.
Valerie's gotten some of that from our.
Oh, that's rough.
Like they're coaching me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've had hours of coaching.
Yeah,
already,
exactly.
person to person. Who are you? even know who you are.
I think I'm fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. As soon as they see a woman, they're just like, she wants my
Yeah, it's
help.
pretty funny. So, like, I'm assuming you've experienced condescension as well, and like, have you ever felt like you had to prove yourself somewhere?
For the firearms, like for the shooting competitions and stuff, not so much because I feel like everybody's kind of just so focused on their own thing that they're not worried about everybody else. When we go hunting in big groups with like a mixed group of people, sometimes you will get like the odd, guy or person in there that might have a bigger ego than everybody else. And yeah, you feel like they're kind of looking at you like, you don't know what you're doing. Like you don't belong here. You shouldn't be here. So you feel like you have to, if you're shooting at that goose, you have to friggin' hit that goose. And you really have to yeah.
Even I feel that way, so.
Yeah, fair.
So,
That's what I try and, yeah, I mean, my husband's newer to hunting, and I felt like he was a bit like, I don't know, about hunting in groups. And I'm like, trust me, everybody is self-conscious about hunting in groups. Like, nobody's a perfect shot. And
yeah. Like at the end of the day, I think human beings are, not all, but most of us are competitive in some way, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like it's a natural thing.
yeah, I think it's like, I know Valerie and I are extremely competitive.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh,
That's good.
So what do you think people get wrong about you, Jen?
Oh, wrong about me. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Dang, that's a really, really tough one. In general, or like just on social media. I mean, my height for one. Like when they
social media, it'll be crazy. But
yeah,
I've seen some of the things people say.
Oh my lord, some of the things. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I'm a very open book. I'm very much like this is kind of who I am. So I don't really think there is like I don't know. I feel like that's not the right answer, but yeah, I don't know if there is much that people get wrong about.
That's fair.
About me, I try to be very open and upfront.
Sounds to me like you're being your authentic self. Like this is who you are. This is what you do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I just don't see anything wrong with it, and if other people do, then I can kindly explain to them why it's not wrong, and if they still think that, then that's not my problem.
I don't know. There's an attitude towards hunting that's very divisive, I guess. Like some people are so against it, and some people, like us, understand the value behind it. And do you find that you have to repeat something in particular over and over again when you're talking about hunting, like a mantra or a philosophy that you have to keep explaining and saying, no, hunting is good. For conservation. Like, is there something that you say all the time?
My gosh. Yeah, like a broken record. The conservation is a huge one because I've had so many people just say like extinction is because of hunting and like hunters are the reason we don't have any wildlife, and which is not true. What an odd thing to say, but people have definitely said that. And I try to explain like no, actually it's the opposite. Like hunting prevents poaching, hunting promotes conservation. We are balancing the population to prevent spread of disease, and so that resources aren't spread thin amongst so many deer in one little patch of land. So definitely just explaining the basics, like the basic benefits of hunting is a big one, and a lot of people don't seem to think that we actually eat the animals that we harvest or shoot, which is crazy. So that's also why I try to post more of the food too, so people go to my page, and if they want to yell at me for shooting Bambi or shooting a goose, then they can see, well, I'm actually eating it.
Rules around hunting and regulations that we all have a limit of what we're allowed to harvest and where we're allowed to harvest it. And that limit is based on the conservation's numbers that they've calculated, that they need us hunters to get rid of those particular animals to keep the conservation, to keep the eco in balance.
Well, and somebody has to control the predators too, right? Like
big time, right? For sure. And even for like farmers and everything. I mean, there's so many times coyotes are going into farmers' fields, or even the geese going into farmers' fields, eating up the crops. And I don't think people realize, like you said, how much regulation we follow too with strict limits. We can't just go and shoot like 20 deer in a season if we want. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And it isn't that easy either. So
no, oh my gosh. That's it. It's been like 3 years since I've shot a deer.
a big, huge investment in time to do all of that. It's not just easy. And also, that's right. Like we don't just shoot, 25 deer. Like I haven't even been able to see one. Like we work full time, we have kids. We run an archery range. I believe that, as hunters, like, we that's what we do. We're following those rules. And um I just think that we're just,
Hmm.
wrongfully getting flack for the wrong thing. And I think there's a big misunderstanding with what it is. And, you know, personally, I would prefer to, you know, eat an animal that was, naturally free ranged, not just cooped up and free ranged, naturally free ranged, where, like you
Yeah.
know that they've had a good life and at the time, like they were harvested safely and quickly. I don't know. I think that there's maybe, I don't know, a conspiracy against hunters or something that just,
And it's so much easier to like come onto my Instagram page and yell at me and tell me I'm a horrible person than it is to go to like Maple Leaf
yeah,
Meats and say like your factory farming is terrible. Like I'm an actual person. They're not going to go to a company and
yeah,
release
exactly.
their keyboard warrior anger.
Well, actually, sorry, I have an interesting story with that actually. So I won't say where I work, but uh, I had to go to a chicken uh, factory where they harvest and I'll say it, they kill chickens and they put it in packaging and whatever. So I drove up there because we were helping them with something, and I saw two people on the side of the road with signs protesting the chicken
Hmm.
factory. So when I went in and I was talking to I think he was the president of the company, and I said, "Oh," I made a joke. I'm like, "Oh, you got a couple of protesters out there. What's going on?" And he says, "You know what?" He says, I used to not be able to stand them, but they actually improved the efficiency of our factory." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, they wanted chickens to be killed more humane. We used to electrocute them, which maimed the chickens. They would break their legs, they would break their wings. So now we
But
suffocate the chickens." So basically they have these chambers where they put less and less oxygen in, and eventually they fall asleep. So they made this deal with the protesters, and he's like, now he says we don't waste any chicken, zero waste.
Huh.
Yeah, because of them. So he's like,
Well,
pretty grateful for them. So
yeah, I guess they did some good. Those two other guys were just wanting something different. No chickens killed
yeah.
at all.
no
I mean,
chickens
I'm not
killed
sure
at
if they
all.
got
Yeah. So
exactly what they wanted, but
yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So on that line of questioning, have you ever posted something and thought, "Oh man, this is gonna piss people off"?
The stuff that I post that I think is going to piss people off doesn't, and the stuff that I post that I don't think twice about, somehow people get pissed off. um, there was, well, yeah, I posted a video a while ago of just sort of showing
mm,
how to clean and like process a mourning dove. And I mean, I know a lot of people like feeding the birds and all of that. So I was like, this might, get a few of the bird watchers a little bit icked out. And there were a couple of like comments of people not sure about it, but yeah, nothing I can think of in particular right now. I feel like my following is mostly people that either respect hunting or are hunters. So when I post something, I don't really expect it
well, that's
to
good.
make too many people angry.
Well, I thought
Usually,
I thought the squirrels was one of the ones that really ticked people
that
off.
was one that I did not think. I didn't even think that was going to go anywhere. And people are still like to this like daily. I still get multiple hate comments on that post. I hunt squirrel because it's fun and a really good protein. And I made a butter chicken. It was butter squirrel, I guess. Butter chicken recipe with squirrel, and all of a sudden I just like open up Instagram and there's like hundreds of comments, and people are freaking out because everything from hunting squirrel is cruel to squirrel carry disease to cultural appropriation to um murdering animals and just like everything like that. It was crazy. And then finally like some of my followers were
Yeah,
trickling in being
fun.
like, oh, this is cool, can I have the recipe? But yeah, there was a few people that what is it? Whenever they stitch the short, I
Yeah.
guess they did a stitch, like kind of joking about it, and that's how
Oh
it
my gosh.
sort of spread around the internet a little bit more. But it's still going wild, yeah. And all it is me just cooking
Well,
squirrel
congratulations on a
into a
viral
butter
video
chicken
then.
dish.
Does that kind of scare you a little bit though? Like some of the comments.
Sometimes, yes. And honestly, not on that squirrel video, but with my work, I work for an organization that represents gun businesses in Canada. So I do a lot of political work. And on X, which used to be Twitter, there a lot of my posts are very like, serious political gun regulation related. And there are just some like very, very unhinged people on Twitter that just they'll like deep dive who you are, and they leave like the most disturbing comments and stuff just because they don't agree with the regulation that you support or the fact that you are against firearm prohibitions or anything like that. So yeah, Twitter's the only one that kind of gets me like thinking sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this, and I think you've talked about it on a few of your podcasts actually. And just to again to remind people, the Horrible People podcast, a great name by the way. I love that name.
Thank you.
And well, I guess Valley and I would probably fit in that horrible person
Definitely.
category.
I can't wait to have you guys on.
Well, I can stick in a question there. Do you want to tell us how you came up with that name?
Ooh, yeah, I kind of just all the hate comments that I would get, I would just kind of think like, oh, I guess I'm just a horrible person. So I was just like, well, there's other horrible people out there, and it did kind of take like a little journey. It was hunting and firearm focused, and then it was kind of expanded to everybody and anybody that was misunderstood, and now it's back to like outdoor world, like hunting, firearm, foraging, archery focused, just to encompass everybody in the outdoor space that's misunderstood.
Great name. Horrible people. Yeah. Well, we're horrible, so we'll just have a podcast then. It's kind of like rolling a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a strange. That's what I was going to talk about, othering. We've
Oh
talked a
yes,
lot about
Travis.
othering, and it doesn't just happen. It's funny because it happens even it happens in the archery community. So recurve archers don't like compound archers, don't like Olympic recurve archers, don't like crossbows. Everybody hates.
I was gonna say crossbow. Are you guys?
Everybody hates it.
Yeah.
We all hate crossbows. Well,
I don't think that
sorry,
counts.
crossbow guys. But yeah, and it was a couple. I think you did a couple of them, right? I think Travis Bean talked about othering. I guess, do you feel that pressure to represent something bigger than yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Because as much as we want to say like the gun community and hunting community and archery community is all very inclusive and inviting, like there is othering. It's really unfortunate at the gun range. There's like the IPSC guys, the IDPA guys, the long range guys, and then there's just so many cliques kind of, and then there's like the clique that doesn't really fit in with anybody, and they might be othered. And then like you said, yeah, like recurve doesn't like this, doesn't like that, and in the hunting world, there's so much of that too. Like people, pro baiting, anti baiting. I've had people get upset because I use a blind to hunt turkey sometimes. Like, I feel like if we just and I don't know if that's ever anything we're going to change, but I think like you're doing, like just sort of trying to create these groups for people that aren't confrontational and can handle having a conversation with dissenting opinions and don't have to get upset because somebody doesn't agree with them. Like just creating more spaces for people like that, maybe that will encourage more people to be more open-minded, less othering, like, yeah, if this guy doesn't see it the same way you do, who cares?
Right? You can just leave me alone and let me feel that way. Right. Like I would just love to have
It
that. Like,
doesn't
okay,
matter.
that's your
Yeah.
opinion. That's great. I'm not going to hate you because of that opinion. Like I would love to get back to that where it's just like we are our own people, own thoughts, and just can we just, you know, be like, interact with each other still in a positive way, even though we have different opinions. Like I would really like that instead of trying to convince others to feel the same way that they do. Like those people are far and few between, but they do exist and they have a very big impact on communities specifically. And like, yeah,
Yeah, They all exist online.
Yeah, and I feel like we're almost being like, I feel like conditioned is such a bad way to say it, but like almost conditioned to be confrontational against people that see things differently and to try and make everybody, fit in the same form. Like they don't want differing opinions or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I try really hard on my own social media to just sort of show everybody how, because like I don't fit into one bubble, like a conservative bubble or this or that. So like I try to show everybody there's different opinions, and if anybody else comes at me with different opinions, I try to respect those and not. I
Yeah.
mean, if they don't agree with me, that's fine. It's not my job to make them agree.
Then you're free to be who you are, and you don't have to fight everybody to try to, like defend
Yeah.
yourself. You're just like, you know what, I am who I am, and if you don't like it, oh well, I'm going to continue being who I am, and I think that that's a really healthy way to be. And, I think like that's it's very like I would say that you're an inspiration to women because like I think that hunting and guns in general are very intimidating to females. And for you to be able to go into it yourself and train yourself and learn how to do these things yourself and be successful at it, I think just goes to show that that females can do it alone, and that you're a great role model for following that kind of footstep. Yeah, yeah. And I was just wondering, like,
Thank you.
yeah, anybody, yeah. So I was just wondering, do you have any big hunts coming up that you're looking forward to? Anything in particular?
Yeah, April 25th, super excited to get out for turkey. My husband will be able to watch my daughter. I'll go for turkey.
Very nice.
Going for a bear hunt in May. That'll be the
Really?
first time I go out for bear. I've never hunted bear before, so
nice.
that's super exciting.
That one over there shot a bear, so
Oh, yeah.
Valerie has a bear under her belt.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I need you guys on my podcast to get all these. 100%. No, I'm super excited for the bear
That's
hunt
awesome.
to try that out. Everyone I talk to says it's just the best. Yeah, going with a guide in Ontario. It'll be fun.
Where in Ontario?
Up near Perry Sound.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some good bear hunting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not very familiar with the area. I'm like
Okay.
I'm very, very far east.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost at the Quebec border, so I'm
Okay.
not very familiar with that end of Ontario.
That's about 3 hours from us north. Be a little bit trying to go to the bit of a humorous side here, maybe lighten things up. What makes a bad guest?
Whenever they don't talk. Yeah, I mean it's so hard to like, because then you're just sort of sitting there trying to think of new, questions or topics or anything to sort of get them engaged. I guess that would make a bad guest because podcasts are all about talking and you need to talk. But I get it. I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I get nervous before every podcast.
Yeah, I think what made me used to it, like, because we were like, during COVID, I had to work from home, and my job is very technical, so I was always on Teams, so I just kind of got used to it. And then so Misha and Justin, the other two gentlemen who's helped me with the podcast, they're carpenters, so they don't. So that like Justin's still getting used to talking on this thing.
Yeah,
he
I bet.
still has times where he stammers, and he's getting better, but it's a big learning curve for him.
Zoom meetings do help a lot. Yeah, I do a lot of like Zoom and video meetings and stuff for work, and yeah, that totally helps because the first few times you're in front of like a video camera, I don't know, it's just awkward and weird.
And then again for podcasts, am I doing okay right now as a podcast?
You?
In this interview.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, are you doing good? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's just trying to I was just trying to be funny. Sorry.
Definitely. I was like, I didn't realize I'd have to rate you. Oh my god.
No, just kidding.
I didn't want to mishear you and then start rating you and be like, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Yeah. I guess I would just be too serious. I decided to throw some funny stuff in there. My apologies.
No, definitely.
Do you approach your content differently than your podcast?
No, not really. I am like a little bit more honestly careful with my content and my podcast just because I like still represent an organization for work. Like I work for that organization, so I don't want to ruffle too many feathers or be, too not vulgar, but like that's a terrible way to say it, vulgar. I don't want to swear or anything crazy. I don't know. I'm careful, but yeah, I do both the same sort of social media and the podcast. I was sort of thinking I had to be a little bit more careful for the podcast now that it's on Wild Origins instead of just like my own thing, but they seem very fine with sort of going with the flow with anything.
So
Yeah,
when you are doing your
cool.
content and you have your videos and your recipes, is there something you're trying to accomplish? Is there a message that you are trying to give? Or is it just you're just recording your daily life?
For the most part, it's either showing people that don't hunt all of the like the ways that hunters do consume the wild game, and it's also showing people that do hunt all the ways that they can consume their harvests. Um, we hunt a lot of geese, and we know a lot of goose hunters, lots of geese around here, and people get freezers full of goose and then have no idea what to do with them, or they only take the breast and leave the thighs, which is like a I mean, to each their own, but I mean, it can be a bit of a waste because like there's a lot of really good things you can do with the thighs. So yeah, it's mostly just sort of trying to inspire people to just cook with their wild game or even get outside. I mean, if it's just me outside hunting or shooting, most of the time I'm doing it alone. So at least it shows other people that don't have someone to go with that it's okay to just sort of head out for a hunt or a fish on your own.
That's a nice message. And I think we need that.
Sometimes it's even nicer to go out on your own sometimes just to spend some time.
Yeah,
I don't think people have enough time to uh like just sit in their thoughts. I find I meet a lot of people that are just not self-aware, and a lot of times I'm thinking this person doesn't spend a lot of time with themselves.
that's a
Uh,
good way to think of it. Yeah, that's true, eh?
and not to say that I'm not obviously trying to say I'm the most self-aware person in the world, but I think hunting has made me more self-aware. Like sitting in a tree stand, I remember sitting in a tree stand waiting for another bear, and it started to rain. I was there for about 3 hours, and I was freezing cold, but I didn't want to get out of the stand because I'm like, I want to get a bear. And finally, my brother calls me. I think we're going to call her a day because it's raining too hard. And I was like, thank God somebody got me out of here because I was going to stay here until something walked by. I read something about comfort, and that we have too much comfort in our lives,
Yeah.
right? And you have to test yourself once in a while.
Yeah, and it 100% gets you out of your comfort zone because everything is not going to go the way you plan. It's not going to go the way you want it to, and you're not going to be comfortable. You're going to be cold or you're going to be hot. Like I know turkey hunting. Like as soon as I go out there, I'm going to be freezing for the first 2 hours, and then I'm going to be like sweating, and there's going to be ticks crawling on me, and like you're it definitely, yeah. I think hunting in general definitely teaches you to get out of your comfort zone and push yourself and realize that discomfort can be rewarding.
I was born and raised in the city pretty much all my life up until I met Chris, which was, like maybe 2017. I met Chris. This is like a while ago. And so, I was born and raised in the city,
Okay.
always wanted to go up north, always wanted to learn how to shoot a gun. But all my friends are city friends. And so, how do you ever get out into the country to learn those things? And, if I'm ever asked, some of the most beautiful or best times that I can remember, well, they were in the forest, when Chris and I are hunting, or like, I just remember it seems so simple, but, we got to our spot a little bit earlier than expected. So, we thought we would just lay down and take a nap. And there was just a bed of leaves just there. There's a log, perfect to put your head on. And like, you're just laying down and you're watching the sun go up in the forest. In like, it's just you. Your gun's sitting close by. You're just comfortable, dry, and you're just watching the sunrise. And, as a city person, that would never, ever have been part of my repertoire of experiences. Like, that's just the most beautiful one of the most beautiful days that I can
It's
remember.
the craziest
And
feeling,
yeah,
isn't it?
and same thing with just being in the field, just watching the field, waiting for turkeys that never come, by the way. Just like I'm just watching the field and just watching the trees and just having this big expanse of field and sky and trees just for a few hours. I mean, how beautiful is that? Like, there's nothing else in the city that is even close to that type of beauty. Like, there's lots of different experiences, but I think the country life is really underrated. I don't know. I just wish we lived in closer to the country where we could be in that nature all the time. Like where Chris grew up, he tells me stories all the time of him being in nature
Yeah.
all the time. And I'm like, I had concrete playgrounds. I had the mall. That was my playground. Um, we biked around to each other's houses, but that was like the extent. There was no nature. There wasn't a place to be where I could hike. It didn't exist. It wasn't even in my realm of existence. So I think that, hunting gives you a purpose to be outside and just gives you experiences that you will never experience anywhere else. And it's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. And like you were describing, waking up with nature, with the forest when you get out there super early and the sun's rising and then all of a sudden the animals are stirring and yeah. And I think humans need to see nature. I think for like our nervous system and like mentally, I think that just
Yeah.
for our own
I
well-being, we
agree.
need to be out in nature, need to be seeing that and walking
Yeah,
and
exactly.
touching grass like they say nowadays.
Yeah. So what keeps you doing it, Jen?
Gosh, just honestly being outside. Like if it, yeah, I've always loved being outside, and hunting gives me the perfect excuse to just be out there. I feel like if I could one day, like if bills didn't exist and everything, I would just completely detach and just live out there in the wilderness in a little hut. There's just, I don't know, nothing better than just being outside, and hunting lets you do that. It lets you connect a lot deeper with nature and provide for yourself and experience so many things like, yeah, harvesting and um, processing your own food. And yeah, so just all of that, the nature and the self sufficiency of it all.
Do you find it like so all like for me it's always, even as a kid, it was a spiritual experience. Do you find that for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I mean, even whenever like if work's super stressful and life's just like crazy, as soon as you go out into the bush, you just feel so much lighter instantly. Like you physically, like your chest feels lighter and
Mm-hmm.
so much less worry, and it just feels like you are where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing too, right? We forget that we are part of nature. That's
Yeah,
human beings always forget that. And going back to what people talk about hunting and you're making animals extinct. Well, we've always been part of the ecosystem, so that's not true.
the food chain, exactly,
Yeah, we've always
especially
been
now
part
that
of it.
it's so regulated and so
Yeah,
monitored.
it's the most ridiculous thing. That just people have forgotten who they are.
Yeah, they're just so far detached from
Yeah,
nature, food.
because I know you talked about you're not a religious person. I've been that. I know I don't have anything against that. Valley and I, well, I would say we're kind of religious. Not super, but yeah, I think people are missing. How do I say that? People talk, higher power, right? We are, to me, and this has always been my theory, is like you look at the universe and we're insignificant specks, really. And when you look at the vastness of and nature makes you feel that. I don't know. Do you, when you're out there, do you ever feel that way? It's like you're not that you're nothing, but that
Always, yeah,
yeah, it's like
100%. Because like
yeah,
life is going on, whether you like, I could, drop dead right there, and life would still go on the same
mhm,
as this, like for nature, of course, like the same as ever. Like deer still walking around doing their thing. Like animals are still living their life. Yeah, you're very insignificant. Like they don't care about you.
and Mother Earth doesn't care about you either. She'll take you out just as quick as a bear
Yeah,
will, right?
Yeah.
absolutely.
You can freeze to death in no time. So and the crazy thing is that's why we go out there. That's why we're out there, because that's the
Uh-huh.
feeling we're missing, sitting in our house watching TV, watching podcasts.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
experiencing.
yeah. Experiencing life, like that's real life out there to me. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So if nobody watched your content, would you still hunt?
Yeah, for sure. There's like a lot of times that I don't know. I always say like, oh, I would just like get rid of all the social media if it wasn't for my job or whatever. But social media has given me a lot of opportunities to, meet other people that hunt and get out and hunt different species and try different things. So yeah, I would 100% like still hunt if it wasn't for social media, but social media has definitely helped me experience more hunts.
Yeah, that's the good side of social media.
Hmm.
Like I probably never would have talked to you ever.
Yeah,
We
that's
live
it.
on totally different sides of the province. Well, at least 5 or 6 hours apart in the province.
Ontario's huge.
It is. It is. Yeah. Takes a day to drive across it from even
Yeah.
from Guelph. So yeah. So and what's your best moment in the outdoors?
There's so many little moments, and there's plenty of hunts that I've gone on where I haven't harvested anything, but they're still just like really, really good hunts. Because I've seen something like I saw this big deer, but he just didn't quite come into range, or like I saw these two turkey kind of squaring off. And then I like foraging, so of course without killing anything, just finding a new mushroom or something like that is always
That's neat.
very memorable and exciting.
I would like to learn that
Mhm.
skill a little bit because I know there's a lot of food in the forest and I just can't identify it. And I really, really don't want to risk eating a poisonous mushroom. So like, I would just love to have that skill. Did you learn this one? Like, did you learn the one on your own too? Like,
I was,
was it
yes,
hard?
I did. I was super, super nervous to start, so I started off small with stuff that was like very, very easy to identify, and I'd kind of look to make sure it didn't have any toxic lookalikes. And then every year I kind of like built on the different things that I would
Very cool.
be able to confidently identify. So still learning a lot, a lot, a lot, but yeah, slowly growing my little
That's
library
really
of
neat.
what
Yeah.
mushrooms I know are safe.
That's so awesome.
It's fun, yeah. And even in like the cities and stuff, I guess the walking trails, there's tons of edible things you can find. So that's pretty cool. There's a girl I follow. She's called the Black Forager, and she is in a city, and she walks through the city and shows everybody all of the cool things that she can harvest in the city, and she like takes them and cooks them, and yeah, it's super, super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. A couple years
Yeah,
back, we saw
I
these
love her.
puff
She's
mushrooms
fun.
in our archery range,
Awesome. Huh?
and I never seen them before. I've never city girl here. I've never seen them before, and I was like, "What is that big egg that's in the there?" Yeah, it was really crazy,
They're so
and it was cool
crazy.
when I realized what it was, the puff mushrooms, and that they're edible. So yeah, and I tried eating it, but it didn't quite turn out great. So
Hmm.
I don't know what I did
They were
wrong.
like a
I did something. I don't know what. Oh, I don't know.
maybe it was too old. Who knows?
It was actually. I remember that time. It was old, and I was like, no, can't. No, I had like black spots on it and stuff.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, it was soft. There's
Yeah.
it's supposed to be squishy, but not squishy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not supposed
they're
to really
good to
bang
like
through it.
fry up like a steak, or I've done like
Cool.
cream of puffball
Oh, very
mushroom
cool.
soup, and yeah,
That's so
they're
neat.
good when they're younger.
It's like food is everywhere around us. Like, we don't have to go to the grocery store to get
Yeah, it's amazing.
our food. It's
Oh
in
my
nature.
gosh.
That's the neat
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
it's everywhere.
So before we close out, I know you're rifle hunter, shotguns. How do we convince you to come out to the archery range and try a compound bow?
It won't take much convincing. I was talking to Erica even. I'm like, I've always wanted to, but I felt like I was just too small. I was like, I don't know if I have the upper body strength or like the size or whatever. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to get into one day,
Awesome.
very
Yeah,
soon.
well, if you ever need someone to help you outfit you into a bow that would fit you, that's like for someone who's your size. Like both my boys are probably. I guess Wesley's a little taller now than he's five. He's probably 5'2" now. But yeah, that's like a diamond prism probably is the best place to start for as a compound bow. They go
Okay.
all the way from 7 pounds to 70 pounds, I think, or
Wow.
no, 70 to 40 pounds.
Okay.
So yeah, you could start down all the way down at 7 if you wanted to.
Um, where are you guys again?
We're in Guelph.
Guelph. Okay.
Guelph, yeah, just outside
That's like
Toronto.
okay. I head to Toronto a lot for work, so I'm sure
There
I
you go.
could.
We live really close by. We can come
Cool.
and meet you there
Awesome.
Yeah.
and just at least get you started in the right direction. So
Well, that'd be so cool. Yeah.
awesome.
I would love that. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Awesome. So the final question of the day is, what would you tell someone who feels like they don't belong in hunting?
Well, I would tell them that I don't think anybody feels like they truly belong, and that, as cheesy as this sounds, you do belong, even if you don't feel like you don't, because hunting is totally like a unique journey for everybody. That sounds
I could see that.
super lame and cheesy, but it is true.
I totally agree. It is very unique for
Yeah,
everybody.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a wild, wide range of people that are into hunting and firearms and everything.
agreed.
Thank you so much.
Totally agree. Well, Jen, thank you for coming on the Letdown.
We appreciate you sharing your experience.
Thank you. This was really, really fun.
And
Oh,
if
cool.
Chris has show notes, I'm sure we'll put your website up on there
Yeah,
because
very
it's
much
kind of
so.
cool. You have lots of stuff on there for us to look at. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Time
thanks
just
for
goes
coming on,
crazy
Linda. That was
fast.
really inspiring, and I just think that a lot of people will be
Yeah,
inspired by you and your story. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really, really nice meeting you guys, and I definitely can't wait to have both of you on my podcast. That would be really cool to have a chat and deep dive about you guys.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be good to have.
We won't leave any blank spot.
Good.
I'm the quiet one, really.
No dead air.
There won't be any dead air, though. It'll be all right.
Yeah,
No,
right.
I'll get really shy all of a sudden. Thank you. Bye now. Good night. Bye.
I'm Justin Harrison. You can find me on Instagram at Justy_785 or on Facebook. Just look up Justin Harrison.
I'm Misha Corso. You can find me on Instagram at Misha Corso. And if you're looking for some great bow hunting and sport shooting merch, look up Stray Sons Archery on Instagram. The link to our Shopify is in our bio.
I'm Chris LaFleur. If you want to find us, the show is Letdown Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And on Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at the Letdown Podcast. Catch you next time. This was The Letdown. Thank you for listening. This was The Letdown.